Should you follow your passion or not? That's a question I'm sure everyone has asked at least once in their life. It's a question I ask myself over and over. My official stance to this question is not only is it important to follow your passion, but we can't afford not to. And I want to tell you why I think so in a minute. But first, as I was preparing for this video, I watched some TED Talk videos that argue that you shouldn't follow your passion. Well, basically, the speaker was arguing that many young people feel lost in life because they don't know what their passion is or what they're destined for. So they end up waiting perpetually, going through jobs after jobs, feeling dissatisfied because they feel that it's not their passion. And, I completely relate to what the speaker was saying because I know several people around me who struggled with the same sentiment. But I do think in this case, the speaker was interchanging passion for purpose. And I think confusing the two is honestly a common mistake a lot of us make. So, for clarity's sake and for the sake of this video, let's differentiate the two. Now, we can define purpose as the reason why you're born here and now. You can say purpose is similar to life mission. On the other hand, passion is a strong enthusiasm for something. We say we have passion for something when it piques our interest and makes us excited to explore it. So in those videos I watched, I think the reason young people were feeling lost on what they should do was because they were looking for their purpose, not necessarily because they didn't know what they're passionate about. I think most of us know what it feels like to be interested in something or what enthusiasm feels like. But the problem is that we doubt that our passion can give us stability. Anyway, on that note, I want to tell you why I believe we should pursue our passion, our interests. And to illustrate this, let me tell you about my mom and how she got laid off in her 50s. The story of how my mom got laid off when she was in her 50s. My mom worked in the apparel industry for 30 years as a sample maker. Sample makers sew sample clothing designs before it gets released for mass production. They pinpoint any problem areas and areas that need to be revised. Anyway, although my mom wasn't passionate about her job, she was good at it and she took pride in it. Her own parents couldn't give her stability when she was growing up, so as an adult, she became the type of person who values stability. Unfortunately, the apparel industry in the United States started shifting and changing because companies actively started to outsource work to developing countries where the labor was a fraction of the cost of the labor in the United States. My mom watched anxiously as her colleagues got laid off one by one, when finally one day she got laid off too. She told me she felt so betrayed by the company she was loyal to for more than 20 years. And so at the late age of 50, she fell into a financial funk. Of course, like everyone whose life has changed drastically overnight, my mom started to internalize the situation. She felt old and useless, like an outdated gadget thrown away after 20 years of use. Her pride in herself and her competence took a sharp nosedive as she fell into thoughts of being irrelevant. But there's more to this than what meets the eye. I know it's easy for people to blame the industry or blame the economy when we find ourselves without a job and the security it brought. But the fact is, everything changes and grows over time. Rationally thinking, all industries change and grow over time. Not one industry stays the same over the course of history. Not one. Why? Why is that? Well, the simple answer is it's because people change. People evolve over time, and so do industries, since they are run by people. That's why expecting the industry to stay the same in order to continue to supply people of their jobs is similar to expecting your child not to grow up. You can't expect your child to stay the same just so that you as a parent can keep feeling relevant. So I think the question shouldn't be, why did the apparel industry change and take jobs away? But it's really, why hadn't my mom evolved along as the apparel industry evolved? I think it all comes down to passion. To be completely honest, my mom wasn't passionate about her job from the beginning. As far back as I can remember, she did her job for stability, not really because she enjoyed it. And because she didn't enjoy her work, she had a stagnant approach to it. She didn't travel outside of what was required of her, and, she didn't get creative with it. If my mom was passionate about what she did, she would have evolved right along with her industry. She wouldn't have simply tried to maintain her job as a sample maker, but curiosity led by passion would have gotten the best of her, and she would have explored different ways to express her creativity within the industry. Passion would have made her creativity come out and play. The fact is, yes, the changes in the apparel industry in the United States took away a lot of jobs, but it also gave birth to many other positions. In fact, many people made the shift along with the industry, but my mom wasn't one of them. She just didn't have the internal drive to do so. But at the end, I believe it was the divine's way of inviting my mom to think about what gives her joy, what makes her happy day in and day out, and also to think about where true stability comes from. Because after she got laid off, she did think about those things. So the lesson? So my answer to the question earlier, whether we should pursue passion or not, I honestly think that we can't afford to do what we don't like for the sake of security alone. It's short-sighted to say not to follow your passion because times will change, circumstances will change, and industries will change. And you want to change along with it. But if you don't like what you do, you won't find the internal drive to move with the changes. I know it's not easy pursuing what you love. You might have to pursue it on the side, on the weekends, and or while you hold down a full-time job. And it takes courage. Because if you're pursuing what you truly love, you'll most likely have to construct your own path instead of mindlessly following a path that others have paved, since you'll find that your path is as unique as you. And this can be very lonely and scary. But nevertheless, I want to encourage everyone to still pursue your passion because, what's the point of life if you don't do what you like doing? What's the point of life if you don't give yourself a good experience while you're here on earth? I think pursuing passion just makes life worth living. It makes you excited to get up each day. Anyway, leave in the comments below what you think about this. Do you think that we should pursue our passion, or do you think stability is something that we need to prioritize? What do you think? I'd love to hear your perspective on this. As always, thank you for watching my video, and I'll see you again in my next video. Regards, Ray.